Respect My Crown, the podcast. Welcome to Respect My Crown, the podcast. My name is Jillian J.J. Simmons. Super excited about today's guest. Her name is Kisha Simmons. No, we are not related, but we're going to talk about that in a minute because we kind of are. Kisha is the founder of Teen Kick, which is a nonprofit that inspires and empowers teens to be the best version of themselves and to walk in purpose. She also is a counselor. She does some counseling with kids and women, and she's very passionate about helping people to get their lives together, okay? Welcome, my good friend, Kisha Simmons.
Hey girl!
So we are related, however,
when
we first met, I'm KIP, right?
Yeah, at KIP Academy.
So we're in line, we're getting our badges, our name cards, and
that's exactly how it happened. So they were calling me Coach K, and they was like, Coach K, let me see, where's your name badge? And you were in front of me. And then they said, and someone told them her last name is Simmons. And JJ turns around and says, oh, we're cousins. Hey, friend. And that's how it started.
And we've been cousins ever since.
Ever since.
And not only do we share the same last name, but we share the same birth date.
Yep.
I, however, am the elder.
Yes,
but,
she is.
But we have the same exact birth dates. We both have family members named Alani.
Yes.
Which is so crazy. And then even our life experiences have been very similar. You know, we both have dated narcissists.
Yep. Overcome them.
And overcome narcissistic abuse. High five on that part right there.
Yes.
Okay. We both have, I don't even know what you want to call it, interesting dynamics with our mothers.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like,
very true.
And so we've been able to really bond on our experiences, you know, sharing our own healing tools with each other. And I just love you to death. Like you are one of those dream friends. Like, seriously. So, you know, people have like dream houses and like, you know, this like you're a dream friend.
Am I the dream friend in the head, like people would say?
Like, yeah, you're that
Really?
person. Like, you're the person who's like, man, if I could have a friend who can be relatable, can empathize, can be transparent and just honest and create a space for me to be vulnerable, a friend that can lift you up, you know, when you need to be lifted up. She loved Jesus, I love Jesus. Like,
yes.
Like you.
And no shame about it.
And so, yeah, you're like a dream friend.
Oh, I appreciate that because I feel the same way about you.
Girl, I'm not going to get into this right now.
I'm just saying, so true. It's so true. I value you so much.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for you and your life.
Okay,
and
stop.
you I know, right? Look, we're not going to do this today.
Makeup.
They're not here. They're not here. They're gone. We often talk about our conversations about self-awareness.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
At what moment in your life did you feel like, ooh, I need to take a hard look at myself because there's some healing that needs to be done there? Like, what pivotal moment was that?
I know the exact moment. Interestingly enough, I was very young. I was 19 years old. So most that know my story, if you don't, I was abused as a child, sexually, verbally, emotionally, and I was a suicidal teen, which is why I work so much with suicidal teens, right? And during that time as a teenager, I was forced to see a psychologist due to me attempting suicide for 3 times. They were like, okay, something really has to be wrong with this chick.
Wow.
Let's force her to go and see someone and seek help. And I remember the moment I was in there after 5 sessions, and my psychologist told me that, after I poured my heart out to this man, and he was like, this is so interesting. And I said, what is that? He said, well, 98% of the people who have gone through what you've experienced, they turn toward that pain, not because that's what they want to do, but it's because that's the only thing that they know. He said only 2% turn opposite of.
Wow.
And I remember in that moment at 15 years old at that time, I was sniffling. I said, I'm going to be that 2%.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And he smirked. He said, we'll see.
Oh.
Now, most people, when I tell this story to teens, they're like, ooh.
Yeah.
But God knew what he was doing, because I've always been an athlete, right? I love to play sports. I believe in it. I believe in competition. I love to give my best. Even very young, I was always like that. And so what that did for me was challenge me to show him that I would be the 2%.
Yeah.
And so I started to do things differently. I stopped fighting. I used to fight a lot.
Really?
Yes, I know. No one can believe it now.
Never
but
imagined.
So I was a fighter, and I only fought boys.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But
interesting.
If you study psychology, you know the reason why was because I was being abused by men.
Right.
And so even if a young boy just said something harsh to me, or in a playing manner, or something like that, I would immediately let go my anger on him, because I had so much built up from what was going on at home.
Yeah.
That was what happened. Yes. Yeah. You learn something new every day.
I know I do.
I know.
This is how all of our conversations are.
All the time.
It's just like, really? I never knew that happened. Or I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But we see this all the time. You look at people who are, celebrities that are very impactful to our world and who have overcome the odds. There's always some type of trauma, that exists, and most of the time it's in our childhood, right?
Yep.
And so, I always talk about like Oprah and, Maya Angelou. It's like, to think Maya Angelou didn't talk. She was mute after being sexually abused by her mom's boyfriend. And then a person who was mute for years became the most powerful voice.
Yes.
In the world.
Yeah.
Maya on a coin. She on that 25. Give me my Mayas. Give me my Mayas. All right? I'm not using no more dollar bills. I'm going to use all quarters. I'm going to give you 39 Mayas. All right? Keep the change. I want you to keep that. All right?
I love you. But to answer your question, the pivotal moment happened to me at 19, which was I gave myself to Christ at the age of 16. I chose to become baptized and said I was going to be completely different from what I saw.
Wow.
And the thing that most don't talk about is it's not an immediate change you see right after. You feel something different and you desire to be different, but you still have struggles.
Oh, yeah.
And at 19 was the pivotal moment for me, because I realized, although I gave myself to Christ, I was still operating in a place that showcased hurt. So I wouldn't let people in. I was very standoffish. I didn't trust anyone. I had one friend. That's it. And anytime that a guy would want to talk to me or date me, I just knew that they wanted something. I'm not going to have it. You can't get no play here. Cutting it off before it starts. And it was brought to my attention with one of my really good friends who I've been friends with for over 20 years, because I recognized how every man in her life, her father, her brothers, her uncles, they were all great men. And I asked God to show me great men, because I didn't believe that there were any.
Wow.
And at that moment was the pivotal moment for me to start trusting, start changing, and becoming exactly who it is He had called me to.
Yes. Oh, that's
so that was my pivotal moment.
You hate to hear about those things that happen to people, but when you see how they've overcome and who it has created them to be, right? It's just like, dang, you're such a powerful person, and you are helping teens who have come from similar situations, right, to find their power. So I want to learn more about, the work that you're doing with Teen Kick and what are the tools that you're giving to these kids to help them to heal also?
Sure. So a couple of things. So with Teen Kick, as JJ shared, my goal is just to enrich and empower teens to understand who they are in Christ versus the world. And the way that I do that is being able to go to their level and then bring them up to where we want to see them. A lot of times teens feel unheard because they feel like you don't get me. You're not listening to me. And sometimes you just gotta shut up. Like just be quiet for a moment and hear what they have to say. And then you're able to lead them in the direction. And they're more actually open to being led when they know that you care. So with teens, not just my nonprofit, but I'll speak about that for a moment. My nonprofit, I take teen girls from all over. Every summer we do a retreat. We haven't done it the past 2 years due to COVID, but that's changing. But the last retreat that we had, we took 60 girls to a retreat right outside of Katy, Texas, and we invite wonderful people like Miss JJ and other influencers to come and speak to the teens and show them a way of life that's different from what they currently see. So typically I'm dealing with those that are coming from underprivileged areas, underserved communities. But what I did in that last retreat was incorporate teens from everywhere. So no matter if you were coming from a town like Port Arthur, Texas that has 86% poverty rate, or from Houston, Texas, or from Georgia, or from Florida, where these girls came from everywhere and they were from all different backgrounds. And what I was able to see was what happened when we put them all together and showing them that they still had a commonality amongst them all, which they all wanted to know that they mattered. So with the Teen Kick, I love to show girls that they matter, and I do that through providing workshops, providing the retreats, being able to provide mentorship. A lot of our girls that go off to college, we have people that work with them specifically to help them as they transition. We give them Kick Care kits where when they're transitioning, they get like stuff for their dorm rooms and things like that. And they have the opportunity to then come back and serve so we can keep the relationship and the cycle going. Once you move forward, you're pulling back. And then within schools, what I'm doing is providing programs. Right now, I'm actually doing the I Am program.
Yes, I want to hear about that too.
Yes, so I always tell teens the most powerful thing that they can speak is whatever they choose to put behind the words I am. That's actually with anybody, y'all, right? It's not just with teens. But if we can get them in that state, in that vulnerable state where they are, in that generation right there, it changes the trajectory of their lives. So I like to teach them the power of their words, and through the I Am project, we are teaching them how to do that. And so I go into schools for 6 weeks, one day out of each week, and I'm doing different workshops based on the things that teens are dealing with at this very moment, but showing them how they can change the situation through their words.
I like that.
So that's what I Am is all about.
You said that some of your workshops are based on what teens are dealing with. What is the one thing you feel like I see this over and over and over again?
Right now, they say identity crisis. I call it unidentity. So not knowing who they are. They're trying to actually find a place of where they fit in. So teens are dealing with issues with sexuality, understanding, am I a boy or am I a girl today, because this is acceptable and this is what we see. They're struggling with what they see on social media and not realizing that there's a lot of airbrushing and lots of different apps that changes how you see this person on social media. They're dealing with struggling with the identity that their parents have for them versus what they desire. So it's so many different things, so many facets when it comes to understanding their identity. But that's the biggest issue that teens are dealing with right now.
I love that we both do similar work too. I forgot to mention that part.
Yeah, the
nonprofit.
Yes.
We do a lot of work with girls.
Yes.
You said a couple of things that really stand out, which I think is so important. So if there are any parents that are tuned in, our kids want us to listen more than anything. Our kids have a lot to say, but are we really creating a space for them to really talk? And a space that's non-judgmental? Because
That part.
You know, you want these kids to be able, and let's be real about it, sometimes it's really hard for them to do that with a parent.
Mm-hmm.
So when they have someone like you who's a coach or can be a mentor to them, where you do provide that space, because I'm sure kids are sharing things with you that they would not dare say to, you know, a parent. Well, what advice can you give to a parent, you know, to open that space up for them to talk?
Well, the first thing I would say is, parents, you have to be willing to allow those people that can have an impact on your teen in a positive light. Allow your teens to be with them, and don't feel as if you failed as a parent simply because your teen chooses to open up to this person more than you. That's actually a gateway for them to start opening up to you.
Right.
So we have to be more open to allowing our village to be built.
Yes.
You know, back in the day, it was all about it takes a village to raise a child.
Yes.
Now we trying to do it all on our own. For what?
Because I got snatched up by a couple of neighbors.
Listen.
And that was normal.
Listen, nowadays, you don't
can't
touch my.
Oh yeah.
Come on, it's not even about that. It's about number one, using discernment, the spirit of discernment, to know who it is that they should be around, and then allowing that to happen.
Yeah.
Because if you can't do it, or if you haven't been successful in doing it currently, God has given you a way to let that happen.
Oh yeah.
So you can have that relationship built. The second thing I would say is, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You know, we're so quick to tell them, I told you, you need to do, you know, and we're continuously going on. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to want to lead your children in the right direction. It's not a bad thing. But we all have different love languages. And if you don't learn how to communicate in a way that's effective for that relationship with them, you're going to lose it. Because just because you like to be spoken to that way doesn't mean your child likes to. And that's the one thing, you know, like so many times I hear parents, we want our kids to be better than what we were, our experience more than what we had. And those are really great, but did you ever ask what they want?
Right.
My child, he could care less if he has toys. My son is 4 going on 14, y'all. He will play with a box. What brings him joy is spending time with me. That's his thing. So finding out what works for them, not what works for you, is the key to building a great team. Into, you know, not having mental issues and growing into a great adult.
And we're both single moms. And so we can also understand and empathize with single mothers on the other side of that, right? Like for me, I just know that there are single moms that are out there. You're working 2 jobs. You're, you know, trying to make ends meet. Maybe you have other kids. And I'm not making an excuse, but I understand, right?
It's you just see the whole picture.
You can see the whole picture. I can see, we can take a look at kids and we can see why. Okay, because your mom is gone all the time, right? And so it's so even more important for us to understand how this village
is a necessity.
It is.
It's a necessity. And even in our busiest moments, we still have to recognize when we need to stop.
Oh yeah.
Those are facts. I mean,
because we don't stop until the crisis happens. Right? And then it's just like,
we want to be reactive then. But it's about being proactive. So how do you change it before it happens?
Having those conversations. I want you to finish this sentence.
Okay.
I am still learning.
I am still learning. What am I still learning? I am still learning to give myself grace. Yes.
And how do you do that?
Sit down and allow God to be God. Not striving for perfection all the time. Because a lot of times, you know, I'm a creative. I have lots of different ideas that may come to me, but sometimes I don't launch because I want it to be perfect. And God be like, I told you to launch that in 2012. What are you doing? You know?
Yeah.
And then if I launch it and it doesn't have the immediate response that I was expecting.
Yes.
I start to become critical.
Yeah.
And so I have to learn, and I'm still learning how to give myself grace.
Oh yeah. I get that. That's one of, I don't want to say like a struggle, but definitely something I'm still learning in a space where I'm trying, it's, you know, sometimes you're trying not to be like the parent that you were in the household with. And so
that part.
I am probably harder on myself, just, you know, and it's only, these are moments, right? Where you're just like, I can see it coming and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be like her. I'm just not. And you're like, hey, give yourself grace that sometimes we're not going to know everything.
Yeah.
This is a journey. Life is a journey.
Yes, not a destination.
And it's just like, give yourself that grace to get it wrong sometimes and know it's okay. Like, you will recover. Life ain't ending. You know what I mean? Like, so I get that. I have shirts that I sell that say, give yourself grace. You can actually check those out. Gotta throw in a cheap plug there.
I love it.
But it's something I think a lot of people, especially moms.
Oh yeah. Moms, period. Whether you're a single mom, a working mom, a mom with a husband, it don't matter.
Yeah.
Moms, period. We have to give ourselves grace.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's too much.
With the work that you do, I want people to know how they can get involved. I'm sure that you can always use volunteers and mentors and you know, this project that you're doing with the I Am walls, you know, schools. There may be some educators that are listening. You know, can you tell people how they can get involved with your projects?
Absolutely. So if you whether you're an educator or you simply want to participate in the I Am project, if you go to my website, iamcoachk.com, and click on Impact, you will be able to get all of the information, whether it's that you want to implement it in your school, because the goal is to impact 1 million teens.
Woo, yes.
1 million teens. And the way that I am doing that is partnership through various schools, and they are building I Am walls in their schools, and the school that's the most creative and gets the most participation gets a free day with Coach K, where I come and offer workshops at the school and give them the opportunity to have a fun day, all on me, and give some great swag away as well. So you're able to get that information on there, as well as print off the I Am poster and fill in the blank and take a picture and post it on social media because we're wanting to change the way that we speak about ourselves. And it starts with us leading by example for our teens. If you would like to get more information about my nonprofit, that's teenkick.org. And yes, we are always looking for additional volunteers, sponsors, whatever you want to do, we have the space for you.
We need you. All right, come on down. Okay.
Yes.
Kisha, you're just such a dynamic person, and so many gifts and so many talents, and such a giver. You and I were talking before we started recording about, you know, your self-care, right? You had a whole self-care day yesterday.
Yes.
I'm always curious to know, you know, how are you loving on yourself when you do so much, especially with the work that we do, because you're pouring and pouring and pouring.
Listen, 2018 was the year that I learned no more can I just go. Because so many great things was happening at once, right? I received the Humanitarian of the Year award.
Yes.
Listen, y'all,
that girl right there.
I don't even know how. Bless whoever chose to nominate me for that, because I feel like that's a lifetime of work I'm still doing. But yeah, so I received that. I was receiving notifications and notoriety in different magazines like Sheen Magazine and Voyage and things like that, and I had such great success with our retreats and getting like $60,000 of different grants within a short period of time. It was like 4 months that our organization received that. So there were so many great things that was happening, but I wasn't taking care of myself. So I was just going. And when you put on something as grand as a retreat for teen girls, who are struggling with various issues, and you're pouring out every single day, and you're praying for, and you're allowing them to just let it all go because you want them to leave different from the way that they came. You have to have the moment to release that. And I didn't. So I struggled. And I was going through a tumultuous divorce at the time, went through this bad depression, and God showed me. And he was like, you cannot give the very best if you don't first take care of you. So now what I do, because I have partnerships with different counties where I'm actually implementing my I Am Well, where troubled teens come and they learn how to change their behaviors, right? So doing that, I've learned, thanks to my friend, after every single session, the next day, nothing. Absolutely nothing. If I want to sit and read all day, that's what I do. If I want to go for a walk because I feel like walking is my worship, that's what I'll do. But those are ways that I will love on myself. Just sitting in complete silence is beauty to me. So turning it all off, including the phone. Nothing, you know, for a certain block of time. And allowing myself to get back filled, you know.
That's so good.
So yeah, those are some things that I do.
That's good. By the way, my phone will be off tomorrow. Mental health day. Okay.
I love it. Do what you have to
mental health day. I'm like, entrepreneurs need mental health days too.
I don't know why
and like,
we don't do that.
We don't ever think about it because it's grind, and our society is telling us you've got to keep hustling, you've got to keep going.
Listen, the word that I listen to from my pastor, Michael Todd, he said, God is taking the hustle out of us. It's time for us to recognize how to be holy. That's a good message.
Right, that was a good message.
Saying.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, I know this as a coach. I've seen this from therapists that I know, that we can give some good advice, right? And then and not do the advice ourselves. What's the last time that you gave some advice to someone and you were like, ooh, I don't even do that myself. like I know I need to do this.
Actually, speaking with a friend, and I was talking about, you know, it's important for you to actually just go boldly into what it is that he's told you to do. Stop looking at other people. They, you know, like they're distractions, and you just need to go forward. And in the moment of me saying it, I was like, girl, now you need to go and mute those people that you be looking at on Instagram because they not helping you. And so, and at that moment though, God convicted me, and I went to go and like unfollow a lot of people and mute people, because I was like, I'll give this advice and I'm not doing it.
But it's normal. But I love it when we have that self-check. Because it's so real. I saw a meme. I don't know if I posted it. I think I might have put it in my stories, where you have, you know, the meme where the guy is like,
that face.
And it's like, he was like, when you give advice to someone and you advising yourself. I was like,
listen, every single time. I don't know. Every single time. It's a learning lesson. I'm like, what God has given me to give other people, he's actually given to me for me. Well, you give so much. We have an amazing sponsor, the Blessings Gallery, that's in Montrose. I have a plant that I want to give to you. My word of the year, which you know, because you sat there and we did our vision boards together, is flourish. And, you know, I just see what you're doing really flourishing as well. I know the work that you have put in. You're one of the few people I know that really does the work. You're not just talking about it, whether it took you 4 years to launch or not. You still, because you wanted it to be perfect, you're still building, you're doing the work. And I can't wait to see what you're doing and how it's going to explode. 1 million teens, girl, you're going to exceed that so quickly. It's going to blow your mind. And so I can't wait, because I'll be on the sidelines like, go Kisha, go Kisha. Yes, I love it.
Go Kisha. I got a whole cheer for you, girl. But I cannot wait. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with us today. Keisha knows we could talk for like 2 hours.
Yeah, and not even pay attention to the time. Be like, girl, I gotta go. I told you I had to be in spring.
So,
and be talking while we walk into the car.
I know. Still talking on the phone in the car. I love you dearly. Tell everyone where they can follow you.
Yes, at Candidly Coach K on all platforms. So that's Insta, Facebook, TikTok for the kids.
Yes.
Go ahead over there.
I didn't even know you were on
Candidly,
TikTok.
I am.
I can follow you on TikTok.
Don't, because it's just now getting better.
Oh, gosh.
No, I'm just kidding. You can go now because I'm more consistent today.
Check right after this. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Kisha, for being such a beautiful blessing to us and giving us some great tidbits on how we too can be wonderful and make an impact, a huge impact on our world. I know that's your word.
Yes.
I know that's your word, girl. All right, guys, until next time, this was Respect My Crown.